Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
And we are
the Carbonation Conversation.
Reviewing Archive 81, Episode 5. Still on this fucking cold-ass day in Chicago.
Through the looking glass.
If you like the audio editing and music production in the background, if you like our logos, which we will be updating them in the upcoming weeks, so we would really appreciate some feedback on that as well. Definitely contact MoBeats89 in the description below, directly on his email that you see, and on all platforms if you want to see his work and listen to his beats. All platforms, MoBeats89. And don't forget to check out, as always, the album release Smashing Buttons 2, Beat Tape Heroes. It is a collaboration between MoBeats89 and Uran Kabashi. And it is a retro video game themed music, hip hop beat mixture, collaboration, collusion. It's awesome. And he's already released 2 tracks, actually, on his Facebook account and on YouTube. The first track is a Mario themed beat mix, and the second track is a Donkey Kong beat mix. I've listened to them both. They are amazing. We appreciate you, Mo. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
As always, let's talk about the beer once again. We're reviewing a couple of episodes the same day, so we are continuing with the German beer Hackashore, which is so goddamn delicious.
Weiss beer.
Yes, happy new beer. And I feel like this shout out today to you. Congratulations on your new promotion, my guy Gat, at his current job. You know, he's doing big things. So shout out to Ito.
Appreciate that.
No problem, man.
You're right there.
Oh, you know when you get like that bubble going down?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that hurts. But it feels so good.
Be a man.
Now, episode 4 was straight chaos.
Oh, yeah.
It was insane. I was in it. Episode 5 is a little bit pulled back, a little bit straight and narrow. It was probably, I don't want to say my least favorite episode of the series so far, but I would say out of between the two, between 4 and 5, definitely like 4 better. Yeah. But 5 does cover a lot.
Very informative. Very informative. It's just not as, I guess, jumpy or
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Because there was a lot of good stuff that still happened in here.
Exactly. So. Tons of information. And so let's get to it.
Yeah, the episode starts off in a news broadcast about a man falling into the train tracks and dying.
Yeah, so they say, no one was there. So, basically, bottom line, we don't know if he was pushed. We don't know if he tried to kill himself.
Right. They're saying he fell. That's what they're saying in the newscast. But, of course, we're here like, come on now.
Yeah. And I was
I swear,
this dude?
When I first saw this, I thought Mark. I was like, don't tell me they fucking Virgil killed Mark or some shit. That was my first thing. I'm like, don't tell me Mark's dead. You know what I mean? I thought they killed because, for some reason, that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Hey, you do got a point with that shit. And it's so funny because the question I was asking, which fucking time is it? That was the question I was asking. I was like,
it's true though.
No.
It's true though. We didn't know.
I thought it was actually retro.
That's what I was gonna say. If you look at the news broadcast, yes, that was more in the 90s. So I did know it was at that time.
Yeah, and basically what we see is Melanie is watching. I could at least assume if she was watching the news, she's in the hospital.
I don't even think she was watching. They just showed that.
Oh, okay.
She was waking up in the hospital. In the background was a fucking Chia Pet commercial.
Yeah,
I remember that
I fucking love that shit.
So I was like, don't you know this is the 90s?
Yeah. Chia. I remember that shit.
But she's in
water and it grows.
You hear all in the background. It's like if you have your subtitles on, you can see the subtitles for the Chia Pet commercial.
I love that shit, man. I fucking love that shit. And
she's in Beatrice's room.
Yeah, so. You see her go get coffee. She's a little spooked. You know,
yeah, it's dark as hell, dark ass hallway, nobody there. You're wondering like, what the fuck?
You know, I will say one thing about hospitals. When my wife was pregnant and I was in the hospital for a couple of days, bro, it gets to a point, it's abandoned.
Well, of course.
You can honestly go anywhere. Obviously, there's certain sections you can't go without an ID card.
Technically, visitors aren't supposed to be there at that time.
Man, I'm telling you, I was walking around that motherfucker like, where is everybody? I was like, where is everybody? Here? I remember me and my boy Monkey, we took the elevator. We hit the wrong side. We were in the crematory area. Jesus. Like, yeah, they opened it. It was like, crematory. He's like, okay, let's get the fuck up out of here. He's like in Cook County at the time. It's like, hell no, let's get the fuck up out of here. So yeah, she's going to get some coffee. I believe she sees Dan, which makes
she hears footsteps, turns around and sees Dan, and he's saying her name. You know, and then she actually wakes up. Yeah. In Beatrice's room, and it's daylight.
And you know she's. I really appreciate her dedication because she's still trying to.
She's still trying to ask.
She's like, hey, how did you know? Like, what was his name? Who was he?
Can you talk to him again?
Yeah.
Like, damn, you're really asking her to do it again?
Man, and she's just like, no. And then she says, don't let it out.
She grabs Melly's arm and in like a demonic voice says, don't let it out.
I almost thought she scratched the shit out of hers. Yes, because of her face. I was like, ooh, that's a nice scratch on your wrist. But no, and that freaks Melody the fuck out, and she gets her shit and she leaves, basically.
Right, she goes to Dr. Turner's office.
See, you remember on last episode, I was mentioning that this is what happened this episode. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's when she goes to Dr. Turner's office, and then they tell her that he's on leave.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so she's like, what the fuck? So she ends up going to his home.
Yeah, and at first, she knocks on the door, and at first, he's all kind of, he don't really want to see her, but she's looking desperate. She's like, I really need your help. He lets her in his house, and she's basically saying she thinks she's being haunted.
And it says, by your son.
Yes, yeah. And, she just spills the bean. I appreciate her for being honest.
Right.
At this point. And, he's like, not really possible. Maybe it's anxiety. But he's like, but what are you really doing here? And she's like, I'm asking for your help. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I thought you wouldn't want my help because it was a complaint.
Exactly.
Basically filed on me saying that basically the complaint was some along the lines of he used somebody's information in a newsletter or in like a blog or something. Right,
exactly.
That. And she was like, did you? And
I talked to him. I did not say your name.
Yeah, he said, I didn't mention your name. It was a researcher who basically was asking for people with specific sensitivities in things. He said he called them
Baldung.
Yeah, Baldung. It was funny because I was like, Baldung? Oh, Baldung. And he said it was the researcher was looking for a genetic disposition to unusual psychic perception. What the fuck does that mean, Nico? Yeah. Come on.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? We were just talking about this shit last episode.
They had the same markers and drawings that she had when she was a kid.
Same
but apparently he told Steven that she wasn't a match.
Which I think was probably a lie, so he could contact her off on the side.
Right.
But yeah, and that leads Melanie to believe
right away. I thought of Samuel. I don't know about you.
Oh, it was funny because I thought of Virgil, which we're gonna get to that later. But it was fucking weird. But yeah, and Melanie, she takes a step back. She's like, wait a minute, this could be real. Like, what I'm saying? If there's a researcher doing this shit, that means it's a possibility that the whole haunting, everything is real. And as I mentioned in the last episode, because I got the episodes confused, episode 4, Dan's sister specifically told him that the dad told her that the ghosts were okay, that she was there to help. He looks Melody dead in her fucking eye and says, I'm a therapist and I do hold some room for, those type of things, but I think it's your anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I think it has to deal with your mom.
She's like, I got footage. I have to recording everything. I'll show you. I got the footage
right now. And
the family, all of a sudden you hear noise and the family's coming home.
Now at this point, what is this? Is the mid-90s?
Mid-94.
Steven, your wife come in there with the kids with a white lady in the room in your house. She took that quite well. Honey, this is one of my patients. My wife would have been like, who the fuck is she?
She said students.
This is one of my, who the fuck is she? You ain't tell me she was gonna be in this house. I was like, man, she took that pretty well. And we do see this look between Melody and young Dan. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, can they work out? Nah, he ate right now. They can't work out.
Damn, Melvin.
And so Melody leaves.
She goes to the Visser and gets on the elevator with Jess, who's taking a jar to the penthouse.
Yeah, and we don't know what the fuck is in the jar. She's prime, but Jess, I like Jess. She's confidential. You know what I'm saying? And she's just like, does it have to do with Sam?
Are you taking it to Samuel?
Does he want you to do something? And she's just like, have a nice day. You know what I'm saying? And she goes into the room. Her apartment. And she can't find Annabelle.
Annabelle's not there. She tries to call their original apartment, thinking she went home or something. Nothing.
It was funny because when she was talking on the voicemail, I totally was like, why the fuck is she asking her to pick? Oh, I forgot. Mid-90s voicemail. Be like, hey, Ito, I'm not the bill collectors, bro. Pick up. Ito be like, hey, what up, Bill? What up? I totally forgot people. It's like, hey, I know you're there. Pick up, Ito.
Right,
pick
up.
ID yeah, you know what I'm saying? I totally forgot about that nostalgia shit. So that was pretty cool. And she goes to Jess's mom's. She's like, hey, have you seen her? Jess's mom all smiles. She doesn't know she's smiled hers upside down.
Is Jess home? Yes, she's doing homework.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, bitch, I'm the motherfucking reason why your ass got all this money from saying you and you giving me that look. But yeah, she's like, Jess is doing homework. I'll tell her you stop by because Melody is looking for Annabelle. Right. And as I believe she goes back to the apartment and she starts the recording of the transferring the seance, right?
Yeah,
the transferring of
the camera
tapes.
onto the tape. Yeah,
and she's doing. And I'm just like, man, don't watch that shit again. Just don't watch it again. She watches it again, and there is a certain point when she is recording, it kind of blushes over a black screen. Yeah, distorts,
and then
you see that fucking figure again.
Yeah.
She steps back, she catches it. She's like, oh,
like, what the fuck? I love Melody. She be cursing and shit.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I really appreciate these people actually acting like fucking people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Holy shit,
I was with Dan. I'm like, I think I'm falling for her too. You know
man, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I love me some Melanie, man. She is so cool. And I love the actress. Maybe next episode I'll actually find, her name and give her more credit because she's really good in this show. So she's recording, she's mailing the letter.
She packers up to get it ready to mail, and then there's a knock at the door. There's Jess, and she says, I know where Annabelle is.
Happy New Year. This is brought to you by the Conversation Confidential. Oh, I said that backwards. See, drinking way too much.
You bastard.
But yes, Jess tells Melody, I know where Annabelle is, and next thing you know, we have Melody knocking on Cassandra's door.
Right.
And this is a confrontation, I guess you could say.
Cassandra's thing. You're smothering her.
Yeah, and
you need to stop smothering her.
She's in a cocoon right now, and she needs to burst out and fly, butterfly, fly.
Like, what the fuck you mean? I came here on my own. She came and followed me. She smothered my ass.
And I was just like, bitch, you don't even fucking know her. Like, who the fuck are you to tell her best friend who she's living with? Like, oh, and what we find out is Cassandra gave her space. She gave her space on one of the apartments that she owns on the 6th floor.
Which the janitor told him never go to the 6th floor.
Mr. John Smith. Very original name that is.
So she makes Cassandra take her up there, which she needed a key just to get to the 6th floor.
And even Melody mentions, like, you need a key to get up here? She's like, hey, you know these old buildings. And I'm just like, man, you're gonna be trapped up there.
So
and it's a reason why.
Yeah. So
you know
she goes up there, tells her apartment 6C.
Yes.
And then she goes into the room, and Annabelle's in there.
Yeah.
Painting again. Talking about, I got to get ready for the show tonight.
Yeah, and Melanie don't even know what show. At first, Melanie walks in and she's like, don't come. It's not finished yet. You can't see the painting. And Melanie is just like, and now the roles are reversed. Because Melanie is like, we gotta go. Get the fuck up out of here.
Annabelle's talking about her newfound love for the Visser, apparently, you know.
You know, and
everything's so amazing here, you know.
Hey, we're here together. I'm here because of you. And now she's just like, I don't want to be here no more. And then Annabelle tells her about some artists couldn't make the event, and now she's filling in, and now basically she's about to present her art basically at this event. And not only that, she kicks Melanie out. I will say Melanie goes a little bit too easy for me, because if that was me, you gonna have to pick my ass up and take Melvin. We leaving. We are leaving. There is no way I would take no for an answer. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's good. Let's celebrate. Let's go to a bar. You know what I'm saying? And once we get outside, we ain't going back in, bro. I'm sorry. We just not happening. But Annabelle kicks Melanie out. She just says, stay the fuck out. And Melanie notices.
Well, she starts hearing.
Yes. Was it the humming or the music?
But it's the same tune. No matter what. It's always the same tune. And she notices a door that is locked from the outside.
Yes.
It has this weird bolt lock, it's like
locked on the top left and the bottom right, but there's also like a lock in the middle.
Yeah, that's how you turn it,
and it opens the doors. Yeah. So she goes in, and at first, viewers looking in this, we're just like,
First, I'm just like, what? Why the fuck are you going in there?
Yeah,
you crazy white bitch.
It's like, what? Like, really? Like, and then she's going in there, and then she's seeing people laying. She's seeing the cockroaches on the ceiling.
Right. It's like the apartment that place, whatever room she walked into, was all fucked up. There's marks that were torn up, walls, and like you said, cockroaches. We're like, what the fuck is this?
And then she sees a circle of people who are acting very similar to the people that she saw that one night in the community center.
Yeah, they're like these were worse. I mean, they were the ones in the room. They were like at least sitting down and it looked normal.
Yes.
These motherfuckers, they looked cracked out or some shit.
In a trance, like heroin, crack. They basically. And in the meantime, one person tries to speak to.
Well, before that, they all stop and stare at her.
Yeah,
all at the same time.
That little scary ass.
Right, and horrible. She backs up trying to get ready to leave, and then one guy approaches her.
Yeah, and as he approaches
is it time?
her, as he approaches her, like you said, he speaks to her. He says, "Is it time?" And John Smith says, stay the fuck away from her.
Well, he also says, oh, did Father Russo send you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is it time? Did Father Russo send you? Shit like that. But yeah, like you said, then John Smith busts out and I told you to stay. Get away first. Stay back. I told you to stay away from the 6th floor. Type of shit. And
I would have been like, yeah, you told me to stay. I mean, because her response is natural because she's like, what the fuck was that? And he's just like, none of your business. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, this is for their protection. And she definitely responds like a normal fucking human being. Like, motherfucker, you ain't no doctor. You ain't no police officer. What the fuck does that mean?
Right.
And he basically tells...
Sam's sister died of an overdose. And he's actually helping addicts out. And... this is a way to keep them sober.
Bro, I'm sorry. For all intents and purposes, if you didn't know in the Carbonation conversation, I did mention the last episode. I'm black. There is no way in hell I would believe that story. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. If the tenant came to me and was like, oh yeah, my sister, yada, yada, yada. And so I'm going to let all addicts from the neighborhood come in, take a whole apartment, and I'm going to protect them by locking the motherfuckers in.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, John Smith. Okay.
It's the 90s. I don't know.
I'm just like, really? But, Melody leaves there. And she goes back to her place. And
it looks like she's like packing up or two.
Yeah,
or some shit.
she's just like,
fuck this.
Man, she is doing the smartest thing ever.
But then the junkie or whatever you want to call him from the 6th floor climbs down
he's
the
in the
fire
window,
escape and he's knocking on the window.
Shit out of her. And he's just like, I won't hurt you. I never would. I told you. He said he's mentioned Annabelle's name and that Julia. And so basically,
right?
That
they said Annabelle actually told him to go to Melody if she needed any help.
Yes. And so that prompts Melanie to open up the window. She comes in.
And she interviews him.
And so we find out that his name is Chris Lee. And he says, my God, some interesting things.
Yes.
This relates back to episode 4 when Jess spoke about the comet. Because it's very interesting because he basically goes on to say that, in a long story short, the Visser is calling him.
Right.
That a specific person brought them there to open a door.
She wants them to open a door, exactly.
And Melanie assumes, like we all assume, that he's under some crack, heroin.
Right.
He says no.
Stardust.
It's the mold. It's the mold in the Visser. He's like, don't you see it? He's like, it's everywhere. It's like in the veins. Right. He's like, it's in the lungs. He's actually treating the Visser like it's a living being. And it's just so interesting because I'm like, the comet shit links to the pendant, links to the paint.
Right, and they also, like I said, called it Stardust.
It's called Stardust. You know what I'm saying? At this point,
he was like, I didn't give Annabelle any, type of thing either.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't do it.
Because it's like basically once you take it, you're
just in another world.
You want more, you can't.
And she even starts to ask him. She's like, do you know Julia Ben? And he's like, I don't know names because I'm so in this world.
And then she was like, how long have you been here?
He goes 2 years.
2 years.
Maybe 20.
I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God. And
I was hoping you remembered that.
He's so good. He's like, do you hear that? And then he gets up and goes to the wall.
It calls and we call back.
Oh my God. The motherfucker was such a good actor in this scene. And it freaks Melody out. She's just like, can you please stop? Can you please stop? But in the midst of this conversation in between them, he does mention Father Russo.
Right.
And he talks about
the golden ticket.
Yes. He talks about a golden ticket that will allow him to leave the Visser and stay in whether it's in the church or a rehab facility.
It turned out to be rehab, but it was like, to him, it was something else.
Yeah.
Golden ticket.
And he's saying, like, basically he needs I almost took it as like he needs God's permission to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so lost. Can you help me? You know what I'm saying? Can you open your arms to me? Yeah. Because it was at a point where Melanie was like, okay, let's go see the Father right now. And he was like, bitch, don't you think if I could do that? I don't need you to do that.
Like,
I
need
the
golden ticket and I'll help you find Julia.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I need the ticket in order to leave, because if I just leave on my own, this motherfucker's
gonna get my ass.
And at the same time, he doesn't say who, which we are obviously thinking Samuel. Samuel is keeping these people here. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna go do this shit myself. She goes to go see Father Russo, and what we find out,
turns out he was the one that fell on the train tracks.
Bro, come on. Exorcist type shit and everything. Like, really? I was just like, wow. Okay.
That's crazy. He goes to the church and it's his funeral.
Yeah, I was just like,
memorial service or something.
bro. Like, and then so she ends up talking to a woman, and the woman just basically says, she repeats what we just said, but she did say that Father Russo, he'd wake up in the middle of the night if somebody called him for help. He was that dude.
It's not normal for him, but it's something he would do.
Yeah. Happy New Year, R.I.P. Father Russo. We love you.
Turns out you were a good guy.
right. And so at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm briefly just looking at my notes super quick.
She breaks into his office,
right? Breaks into his office and opens up the door and finds out he has been working on this shit for a very, very long time.
She finds the golden ticket first.
If you've ever seen the Batman, it was like the Riddler shit. Like, that was really what it was about. Shameless plug. Check out our Batman review, the Carbonation conversation. But it really looked like that. Like, he had it mapped out. And I wish I had time to write everything down, because I'm pretty sure if we were to have a conversation about that, it would probably make more sense. You know what I'm saying? Even though you've seen the ending, but you know what I'm saying? It would probably pop on some shit that you probably didn't know, but I didn't write it. I didn't write it. But what we do find out is a few things. Samuel S. got a different name.
He got different.
As soon as I saw that Virgil, I'm like, oh shit. I was like, is that Virgil? I'm like, oh my fucking God. And then we also find we find out that Father Russo has been studying it in occult books. He's been studying the sculpture. He's been studying the viscers.
She opens a book, sees the statue, and she's like, oh my God. And she reads, it's Kalego, both God and demon.
Yes, and she also sees the Baldag Coven.
Yeah, she's a chapter of the Baldag Coven, and sees the symbol on her mother's ring, which was the sigil of the coven.
So I'm like, wow. So it's so many things happening at once. I'm like, damn, did her mom really sacrifice her like that? Put her in the church to just plant the seeds like that. Chia. Yeah. But yeah, and so and at this time, Samuel, he's just so well with people, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bastard. He goes in, he's just
the lady that she was talking to earlier lets him into the room. She's hiding under the desk.
And he's just basically, and then he says it so specific too to get her to leave the room. He's just like, he was so very fond of you. Like, I was just like, are you trying to insinuate without thinking it? She just breaks down and leaves the fucking room.
I think it's some air.
And then he's like,
you get out of here.
Is basically snooping. I don't know if he finds the book that he's looking for.
First thing he does, which we didn't mention that she saw, was the calendar.
Mix, right?
Yeah, the calendar.
What was on there? Did you see what was actually on there?
Meeting midnight, you know what I mean, at the station, and it had SS. You know what I mean, like the initials in the bottom, SS. So I mean, and then you see that that he wrote down about the meeting, so he already planned that meeting. It wasn't like like a late night call.
Late night
it was
call.
Written
that was
in the
planned.
Calendar, and then he goes in. That's the first thing he rips out of the book. The calendar. Rips that out.
Could it have been TS?
I saw SS.
SS? Yes. The only reason I'm asking because that would make sense about the motherfucker who was in the books. No,
well, I was just
Bellows,
saying, I'm saying SS because, it's Bellows, but I think it's Samuel. I don't know if they said Samuel.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to think of what the fuck is Samuel's last name. It could be him, though, obviously. And and Samuel's looking for something. I don't.
Just him ripping that shit out of the thing. It's like, oh, yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
Like he's covering his tracks.
And picks up a book. The person comes back. He's like, oh, yeah, this is it. He leaves. Melanie literally leaves the place. Immediately calls Steven and leaves a very hysterical, tripped out voicemail. Right. I'm just saying, that's not a voicemail that you can just leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if you're gonna leave it to anyone, at least it's your psychologist.
Yeah, that is true. You're confidential and shit like that, right? Yeah, and then she gets a page, and it's Annabelle saying, "Where the fuck are you?"
Right. She sees a reflection of Dan again.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And here's here's the thing, like, as far as Annabelle is concerned, there are times where I think she's possessed, like she's in a trance, and there are times where she, like, when she was talking on the phone, that sounded like Annabelle. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck are you? Like, you forgot? Like, you know what I'm saying? So Melanie hurries up, she goes, and basically, you know, this is Annabelle's show. Right. She's showing off the hostess, I guess we can say, of the event. The person that's running the event, that's selling the things, that's promoting the people. She is very hyped. You know, Annabelle is there. She is just like hugging Melanie, and Melanie is just still telling her, like, bro, we gotta go. Leave the visor. Like, really, we do. At that time,
then Melody sees Annabelle's paintings.
Yeah,
where she was like freaking out. Like,
before that though, she sees Samuel. Cassandra and Jess comes to this, and then she automatically tells Jess, like,
what are you doing here?
Like, does your mom know? And then Jess kind of gives her that look like, oh, you're one of those now? You know what I'm saying? And she kind of just walks off, and then Cassandra's telling her, like, hey, you know,
you stop smothering.
Yeah, stop smothering
her,
you know what I'm
too.
saying?
Like, Jesus, bitch.
And then, like you said, Melanie sees the paintings, and they are basically... Was that your text message? What the fuck was that? It's like, cha-ching! Did we win some money, you know? But yeah, like, you know, we were looking at these pictures, and first off, they look phenomenal. They look amazing. Our happy new beer today.
Well, yeah, the paintings were nice. But then it was like, who is that in the paintings? I don't know. I just see her.
And then she even says something along the lines like, she's in the other world.
Yeah, she's in the other place.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And again, Melanie's still trying to tell her, like, hey, we need to go. And what happens is the hostess pulls Annabelle out to meet some more people. Yeah. So Melanie is just recording the paintings, and Cassandra comes up. And Cassandra says, this is the same woman that apparently Eleanor painted, and that has been hanging from Cassandra's apartment at one point. Don't know if it's still hanging there, but it was at one point. And then she is just like, maybe Annabelle is tapping into some shit. And then she kind of laughs. Like, Tamara is very, very fucking scary and weird at the same time. Chick, you know, she's like somebody that Tim Burton would marry. You know what I mean? Like, very fucking weird.
With the girl from Fight Club, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that's, I don't know for sure.
Bottom Carter?
I think that's Tim Burton's wife.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, and what happens is, in this midst, you know, Tamara says that. She says, I'm about to have some shitty wine. She goes and drinks some wine, and we hear Annabelle shouting. Yeah,
going off. She's pissed off because apparently the hostess says she sold a couple of her paintings. And she said, they're not for sale.
Yes.
They're not for sale.
Just for everybody to come and look at and love. And before that, I would say, I think Melody notices that the paint is actually mold. That's the start of this. So I don't know what exactly clicks for her to recognize that, but now we know that the mold is the fucking paint. Right. Which Annabelle has been getting into the last 2 episodes. So shit is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? With the stardust and the drugs and the comments, it's just like, what is going on? Because Annabelle is pissed that the hostess is selling her shit, which she has the right to do. That's the whole purpose of this event. And her and Melanie get into it, like, calm down.
Melanie's trying to calm her down. Like,
we need to leave.
And Annabelle's just like, if you're not going to help me, get the fuck out of my way and push the hell out of Melody.
She even says the same thing that Cassandra's been saying. You're smothering me. Cassandra was right. And then Melody's just like, what
that shit pissed me off.
I was like, are you serious? Right now, I'm telling you, she would have got her ass mollywopped and drugged the fuck out of the goddamn event. I apologize for this, but I'm gonna have to whip my best friend's ass real quick. You know what I'm saying? Ito, if I'm possessed You have all intents and purposes to whoop my ass and drag me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so...
Okay.
And so Melanie heads back to the Visser. You know, she's heartbroken, she's frustrated, she's pissed off. You know, she got pushed down basically by Annabelle, and she sees Samuel.
And she confronts him. Were you the one that bought the paintings? Were you the one? You know, like.
And then she basically tells him everything. She's like, you got this many different IDs. You basically run this whole show. You know what I'm saying? Did you kill the father? Was it you who met up? And he's just like,
you're the one that killed Father Russo, all that shit. You met
like,
up with
I don't know what you're talking about. He's so fucking sad.
I know, but you could tell like he's kind of nervous too.
Yeah.
His reaction, like, oh shit, what the fuck does she know? You know.
And then out of nowhere,
boom,
Chris Lee apparently believes
falls to his death.
When did R. Kelly come out? Can we even talk about R. Kelly these days? I was like, when did I Believe I Can Fly come out in the 90s? Did that come out in the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah, like, boom, he hits the fucking pavement.
And she screams her guts out.
Yeah, and now we're looking through Dan's perspective.
Exactly.
Looking at it.
And he pauses the camera, and you see Virgil next to Samuel.
Okay. Now, maybe it's just because we just reviewed the Adam Project. But I was like, is that Virgil going back in time to try to talk to himself? Because I thought Virgil was Samuel.
Oh, really?
Virgil gives a great explanation, but I thought to a certain degree, I was like, is that same motherfucker? And you know, at this point, Dan is just like, he literally looks at the camera. He's like, I know you son of a bitch.
I know you're watching.
They're like, fuck, bring your ass here now. And he's like, explain yourself. Virgil comes there, and Virgil is so cool, calm, and collected, and gives the best explanation that anyone can have. Like, what? He's just like, yes, we were rich, and my brother was into this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was into this. I didn't believe him, but we were rich. You know what I'm saying? Right. And when a rich person gets into this type of shit, they're into this type of shit. And my God, that explanation is so good. Fuck you, Sam, because it's true. You know what I'm saying? Even in today, like, I forgot Alex Jones, like, exposed some shit in the 90s about all these goddamn rich-ass people going to some island and worshiping some fucking statue and shit. Like, that is shit that, for whatever reason, I guess after you've bought all the shit, you just want to go worship some.
I'm bored. I'm bored. Let me just do this real quick. You know,
and he basically says he believes Melanie
burnt down the Vilser and killed his brother.
Now, I do believe he's right.
And then he goes off to like, well, how do you know he didn't burn your house down?
Yeah.
And kill your family. He had issues with your father. She had issues with your father too.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, to me, I'm like, no. I didn't even think she didn't burn down the Visser either. No, fuck that. She's too fucking good.
Yeah, you know,
like, no.
I said, okay, now, see, we're in the last, like, 2-3 minutes, so I'm going to pour one more shot, but I honestly can see Melanie saying, fuck this entire building. This building is haunted. You know how people feel.
I know, but I don't see her killing innocent people.
Oh, no. You know what?
People were killed in the fire.
Yeah, that is so true, but what if
if it was just him?
They're all possessed like the fucking community.
But it's not her fault.
Gotta die.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
Oh, I'm not saying it's their fault, but they all gotta die.
Those stardust heads up on the 6th floor are innocent people.
What about? You know what's funny? I wasn't even talking about that. I was like,
I know you were. I just want to remind you.
I was like,
of the Stardusties.
He cares way more about the Stardusties than. You like how I just used that, right? Yeah. But yeah, like, I'm just like, maybe she just got to a point where they were just like, we finna kill your ass now that you know everything, and she had to burn down the fucking Visser. and then fucking Samuel ass was like, Steven knows too, so we got to go kill his whole family. And Melanie was like, I'ma get there before he get there. And he set a fire, and he was like, oh, I know you were supposed to be here. It's a plan. I sent you in the trash, bitch.
But fucking
I don't know.
Virgil's just like, just finish the tape, man.
Yeah.
And that could close some shit for both of us, you know?
And we already know he got something going on. But until next time, I guess we should do this shout out, right?
Yeah,
while we're recording. Good reviewing, good episode.
Shout out to Melody. That's my G.
Man, I love me some. I need to get that actress name to see what she gonna be in the future. Maybe we'll follow you for a little bit if you don't come out with any love movies, please.
Pretty sure you probably made some of those already.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
And we are
the
Carbonation Conversation. Archive 81, episode 5.
Through the Looking Glass.
And as always, we love you.
You all right.